It's been a disastrous Friday so far for Donald Trump and just an overall disastrous week. He's panicking this morning, and here is what he's posting. He's saying that he looks forward to taking a deposition of Rupert Murdoch. Okay, Donald. Trump posts the following. I look forward to getting Rupert Murdoch to testify in my lawsuit against him and his, quote, pile of garbage newspaper, the Wall Street Journal. That will be an interesting experience, exclamation point. So we've reached the part in the Trump term where he is threatening Rupert Murdoch, the owner of Fox, and calling the Wall Street Journal a garbage newspaper. I think that tells you how unpopular Donald Trump is at this point. And we all know Donald Trump's the one who's not going to sit for a deposition. I know Donald Trump's going to be way too scared to have questions asked to him about his connections with Jeffrey Epstein and about the letter that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal article allegedly sent to Jeffrey Epstein for Epstein's 50th birthday, where Trump is alleged to have written things like, our secrets will always remain secret. You know, we love those young enigmas. You know what I'm talking about, Jeffrey. And Donald Trump's defense was, I never drew photos, because in the letter to Epstein, as alleged in the Wall Street Journal article, Trump drew a photo of a naked girl and then signed his name where the pubic region would be. That sounds consistent with the types of things that you would do, Donald. Then Donald Trump writes the following this morning as well. I absolutely love that Colbert got fired. His talent was even less than his ratings. I hear Jimmy Kimmel is next. Has even less talent than Colbert. Greg Gutfeld is better than all of them combined, including the moron on NBC who ruined the once great Tonight Show. Greg Gutfeld on Fox is probably the least funny, weirdest individual imaginable. He's the guy recently who said that he wants to take over the word Nazi and call it the N-word, and that people can say, hey, he's using the N-word because they want to be called Nazis now. That's not humor. That's not funny at all. And, this is the exact type of things that we see authoritarians do all the time. When Putin got into power, he fired all of the cartoonists and comedians in Russia who would mock him before. This is just authoritarian 101. Speaking of, Donald Trump then attacks the chairman of the Federal Reserve, once again, Jerome Powell, because Trump's like a little baby. He's like, why aren't you resigning? I want you to resign. Here's what Donald Trump writes. Too late. He calls the chairman of the Federal Reserve too late. He goes, too late, and the Fed are choking out the housing market with their high rate, making it difficult for people, especially the young, to buy a house. He is truly one of my worst appointments. Sleepy Joe saw how bad he was and reappointed him anyway. The Fed board has done nothing to stop this numbskull from hurting so many people. In many ways, the board is equally to blame. The U.S. is a rockin'. There is very low inflation, and we deserve to be at 1%, saving $1 trillion a year on interest costs. I can't tell you how dumb too late is. So bad for our country. If you dropped interest rates precipitously to 1%, we would be in a Great Depression. Our inflation would look like inflation in Argentina. It would be like 50% inflation or something like that. Do I like that the interest rates are where they are? No, but they need to be there, unfortunately, because of your fiscal economic catastrophe that you've created with your trade war against the world. The interest rates were going down slow and steady the way they needed to in a slow and steady situation, a responsible situation. And then you declared a trade war against the world, and we're seeing serious inflation. I mean, by the way, I saw a recent report that if you just look at some of the prices at Walmart, or you could see any department store, some of the prices there from May to July of some of the goods, it's up like 51%. There are some that are up 5%, 10%, 20%. There are some that are up 50%. I know my experience when I go shopping is I go, wow, that got a lot more expensive. Wow, that got a lot more expensive. Prices are getting higher. Housing is less affordable. You made the promise that you would make housing more affordable and that prices would go down. And now you want to find your next Dr. Fauci, your next scapegoat. And as Donald Trump's approval is hitting record lows, as low as anybody in the history at this time of the presidency, bring in MAGA Mike Johnson and the sycophants. They go on, the morning shows today, and MAGA Mike Johnson's like, oh, Donald Trump has never been more popular. He's the most popular there is. Here's MAGA Mike Johnson this morning. Let's play him.
Look, the president is the most maligned and attacked political figure in the history of American politics. There's no question about it. But he's also the most resilient. And you see at the same time, his approval ratings are skyrocketing. CNN had a story, I think, a day or two ago. He was at 90% approval rating. There's never been a president that high. So the more that they attack him, the more the American people see through it.
And then MAGA Mike Johnson was asked about the Wall Street Journal story, which says that Donald Trump on Epstein's 50th birthday sent Epstein a birthday letter talking about their secrets together, the young enigmas that nobody should ever know about. And Donald Trump's excuses, I never drew photos. And again, we've seen so many photos of Donald Trump drawing photos and doodling. But MAGA Mike goes, Donald Trump told me he never draws. And that doesn't sound like him. What do you mean it doesn't sound like him? He's on audio saying that he grabs women by their genitals because he's rich and they let you do it when you're rich. And he said that's locker room talk. And that's how men speak when men don't speak like that. Trump says things like that all the time. What are you talking about? Here's MAGA Mike Johnson. Let's play it.
Sirens on drugs. Woo, 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 because someone drew in 2003, might have drawn a picture of a body letter before the guy even, all the real info hadn't even been out at that point, I don't think, about this guy.
The president and I talked about that ridiculous allegation this morning. He said it's patently absurd. He's never drawn such a picture. He's never thought of drawing such a picture. And he said, did you see the language of this bogus supposed communication or card or something I supposedly sent to Epstein? He said, I don't talk like that. I don't think like that. They're literally making things up. And he's so frustrated by it. And he's going to wind up, I think, suing some of the media outlets that had put all this out there because they informed them that it was totally contrived. So, look, the president is the most maligned and attacked political figure in the history of American politics. There's no question about it. But he's also the most resilient. And you see at the same time, his approval ratings are skyrocketing. CNN had a story, I think, a day or two ago. He was at 90% approval rating. There's never been a president that high. So the more that they attack him, the more the American people see through it.
If you're a homeowner, you need to listen to this. In today's AI and cyber world, scammers are stealing home titles and your equity is the target. Here's how it works. Criminals forge your signature on one document, use a fake notary stamp, pay a small fee with your county, and just like that, your home title has been transferred out of your name. Then they take out loans using your equity or even sell your property, and you won't even know it's happened until you get a collection or foreclosure notice. So when's the last time you checked your home title? If your answer is never, you need to do something about it right now. That's why I've partnered with Home Title Lock so you can find out today if you're already a victim. Use my promo code Meidas at HometitleLock.com and you'll get a free title history report and a free trial of their $1 million triple lock protection. That's 24/7 monitoring of your title, urgent alerts to any changes, and if fraud does happen, they'll spend up to $1 million to fix it. Find out why I trust Home Title Lock. Protect yourself like I did and don't be a victim. Protect your equity today. Go to HometitleLock.com and use promo code Meidas. That's HometitleLock.com, promo code Meidas.
And folks, I don't want to lose attention on the Texas floods. There's still over 100 individuals who are missing right now. Their bodies have not been found. The death toll is somewhere 120 to 144. I've seen different numbers in different outlets, with about 100 bodies still missing. I just want you to, how horrific. And then you had Kristi Noem give a press conference in the morning saying that this is exactly how things should be. We're going to have nearly 300 people dead. We haven't even been able to recover the bodies. It took you 72 hours to activate urban search and rescue teams. You shut down the call centers by not renewing their contracts the day after the floods. What are we talking about here? Here, play this clip with Kristi Noem.
State and those local officials we come in and support them. What you saw happen in Texas was much more how FEMA will look in the future. We won't look like the response to Katrina or the response to even Helene and what happened in North Carolina, where people waited weeks and weeks and months for help or for people to show up, or help was promised and it never came. You look at claims from Katrina, some of them still haven't been paid today.
And also, the press secretary for the State Department is confirming that the United States will indeed be eviscerating all of the stock of the food rations, the emergency food rations for hungry people internationally, rather than deliver them to, say, Gaza or deliver them to places in need. We're about to just burn them all. Just burn them. And here's her excuse. Let's play it.
The story here is the nature of the commitment of the United States to food aid, which we all commit to, but also still, like everything else, doing it more efficiently, with less expense, but with the same framework. So yes, I mean, there's a dynamic there where we're going to destroy, and we have before, the emergency food rations in particular that might expire, and then replenish that. All right, well, we'll finish.
But folks, you should all know that the Attorney General Pam Bondi, while covering up the Epstein list, she is in Alcatraz, not the alligator concentration camp in Florida. She is in the concentration camp. Well, she was in the actual Alcatraz in San Francisco, touring it and saying, you know, this is the type of dungeon that we like in the Trump administration. Here, play this clip.
It could hold middle-class violent prisoners. It could hold illegal aliens. It could hold anything. This is a terrific facility, needs a lot of work, but no one has been known to escape from Alcatraz and survive.
Now, if you look at Donald Trump's disastrous trade war against the world as Fitch, which is an organization that looks at it has ratings and it analyzes these numbers. So the U.S. effective tariff rate may be about 19.4%. When you blend all of our tariffs against the world, you're looking at 19.4% with the new reciprocal levies. That's not good. I mean, that means that the goods will potentially be 20% more expensive. I mean, the question is are the companies, how much can they tolerate themselves? The country doesn't eat the tariffs because the outside countries don't pay it. The importing companies do. The question is, how much can they stomach? And we're seeing them raise the prices. As I mentioned, the Walmart example. Also, it does seem like the UK and India, they're actually entering into a real trade deal together that's going to cover whiskey, electric vehicles, textiles, and more. So they're actually doing a deal. Remember when Donald Trump announced earlier this week that he had a deal with Indonesia? No. As I said, you can't listen to what he says because he lies about everything. You have to evaluate the conduct. Indonesia has said today it is still negotiating the details and exemptions, and it has not made any final decisions yet. So there is that. And, I always want to highlight in these videos, the good work of unions. The AFL-CIO is doing their Better in a Union bus tour across the country. And some of the members and workers were in Charlotte this week, rallying with Wells Fargo workers who are organizing a union. As Liz Schuler, the president of AFL-CIO, explains, our voices are more powerful when we join unions. Shout out to AFL-CIO for the work that they're doing. I want to show you this clip right here of one of those Wells Fargo workers happy to be joining a union. Play this clip.
Hi, everybody. My name is Brittany, and I work for Wells Fargo, and my branch is unionized under CWA. So it is better in a union because you are protected, you have family, and you have support. That is why I decided to help my branch organize to unionize.
Yeah, big shout out to the bus tour. Great work over there. Everybody, please hit subscribe. Let's get to 6 million subscribers. Thanks for watching.
The truth is more important than ever. Check out our new Truth Over Lies collection at store.MeidasTouch.com. All 100% USA union made.